Sound. Oh, we've got sound.
We've got sound.
We've got sound, yeah.
We're going to say good evening. That's your cue to sit down.
I think I've missed it up, actually.
Okay. Oh, Peter's missed it up already, and we haven't even had the first act.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome to...
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. There's 3 out there.
Welcome to the last evening of CA 2000... What year is it? 2012.
2012.
Thank you.
Do you know what? I'd come to CA every year, but this year I really just had to escape from the UK. I find it difficult to deal with the humiliation of being British when it comes to sport. You know, the tennis, the football, the Eurovision. I can deal with the defeat. It's the hope I just can't stand. Shall we welcome Antonis?
Yeah, I think we should. Yes. Fantastic start to the evening, actually. You're going to really enjoy this. Ernesto Arando. Born in Aruba, he says, after some wandering, he came up in 1976 in the Netherlands. Here he got the opportunity to develop his passion for music. He fancied himself as a child in a candy store, and in no time his room was filled with all kinds of musical instruments. He established himself by listening and watching many percussionists. In his own band and as guest percussionist, he gave the rhythm section an extra colour, which seems like an understatement to me. The feeling grew to be creative in his own way to fill in music, and since the late 1980s, he's developed his own unique performances in which he mentions sound stories. The last 20 years, Ernesto performs these stories in theatres and schools in the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Germany, Switzerland, China, and the Dutch Antilles. Turn the page. Now, his percussion pieces and performances are often inspired by nature, and he's given me a list of titles so that you're prepared as one piece flows into the other. In the Forest is the first piece, Waterfalls, Flamingo, Travelling, and he's joined by Zudiara and Ruben Bex on stage. So a warm hand for Ernesto Arendo. Fantastic.
Awesome. Totally awesome.
Yeah. Right. What I forgot to do, apart from trying to hold this and my microphone, we asked all the artists tonight 2 questions. If they could invent an Olympic sport, what would it be? And which Olympic sport would they like to compete in if they could do? And I forgot to mention Ernesto. He said the Olympic sport he'd like to invent is frog jump. Right? After seeing that, I understand why, but at the time, I thought he meant the English thing, leapfrog. You know, leapfrog? So I thought I'd better check. And he said, no, actually, he means jumping like a frog. And then I'm not sure that the Olympic sport he'd like to take part in actually exists, but I'll read it anyway. It's called fast walking in the early morning. Now, I couldn't spot that on the list back in London, but...
Meanwhile, Peter's going back to London now, where he's going to raid the kitchen and his tool shed and have a go at what Ernesto's just done.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I have some Olympic facts in keeping with the Olympics, which we have escaped from, as it were. Now, there's some here which actually also can relate to Christian artists as well. The 5 rings symbolise international friendship and represent the 5 continents. It was first used in 1920. So I thought that kind of went along with CA as well, international friendship. And the second one does as well. The Olympic flame stands for purity and the endeavour for perfection. This is one for me. Women were first allowed to compete in 1900. And also in 1900, which took place in France, the winners were given paintings instead of gold medals, for all you artists out there. Because they believed they were more valuable than gold. Yeah. And this is Peter's favourite fact. The word gymnasium comes from the Greek word gymnos. I think, don't correct me, any Greek people. From the Greek word gymnos, which means a school of naked exercise.
We could do without that, yeah.
We can do without that. While it's in London at the moment, they'll catch the death of cold.
Yeah.
How are we doing back there?
Oh, yeah.
We're kind of nearly there.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a year since we were last here, though, does it?
Oh, feels like more like 365 days to me, Peter.
You mean that you're using the Christian Artist chocolate advent calendar again?
You've told them. Look, I'll explain. Look, it's my female way of coping with the days or the year in between CA. Get home on Friday, day 1. Wake up, open the door on the calendar, eat chocolate. Day 2. Wake up, open the door on the calendar, eat chocolate. There was only 364, because when I got to Michiel's window, he'd already eaten the chocolate. And we're doing there. Are we clear? Are we ready to go? We are. Right, okay. So we have next the Christian Dance Company. The Christian Dance Company Foundation is the first professional Christian dance company in the Netherlands and was established in 1995. The foundation was a move towards a more professional approach in organising performances, productions and an educational programme. An organisation where Christian dancers, trainees, teachers and choreographers are given the chance to combine their talents with their belief in God. The Christian Dance Company has now grown into a professional company, performing in theatres, churches, at festivals and conferences throughout Europe. Because of the long history with various choreographers and dancers who have worked together throughout the years, the company has a broad range of dance vocabulary and rep. Using various techniques like folklore, classical ballet, Graham technique to modern jazz, street and hip-hop. Amazing. The company has worked with many different artists, disciplines and organisations, which has led to some beautiful collaborations on stage. The last few years, the dancers and choreographers within the company have been given their own freedom to develop their own choreography skills. But the source or message always leads back to their vision and our creator, and the love we experience when we seek to be face-to-face with him. The 4 dancers who will perform tonight work in partnership together to dance, choreograph and teach within the Christian Dance Company Foundation. They will be performing 3 pieces, and Daisy is going to introduce the pieces.
Good evening. The first piece I want to introduce is made by Ennio Drost, and he will perform it himself. Yoo-hoo! Sorry. Okay, sorry. First dance is from Josephine van der Lucht, which he made during a project that the dancers were asked to do a solo project. And she worked on that and performed it actually a long time ago. But I asked her to do it again, just today, because I think it's absolutely beautiful. The reason she made it is about this. Sometimes people would like to change you, and instead that it is helping you, it is putting you down. But when you have faith and when you trust God, it will be fine in every way. So please welcome Josephine van der Lucht. So, now it is time for Ennio Drost. He's performing a solo that he made. He was also asked to do a solo project, and it took him some time to finish it, but it was a whole process for him for the last 2 years, where he actually found himself in a place where he was struggling with making choices. So as he struggled making choices in life, he also struggled making choices on movement. So making a part, skipping a part, just trying to figure out what was the best movement that would translate his story. And but after a while, he realized that he could give it all to God, put it in the hands of God and say, it's time to let go. Ennio Drost. Okay. Sorry, that was really, really good. I'm shaking. Our last piece for tonight is with me, Martina, and Josephine. And it's called Connect. And it's a concept that I wanted to work on. And I gave them like subjects to work on, and they would make little pieces of choreography, and we would watch it and see, is it connect or is it disconnect? And I find it a very intriguing subject, as I find myself a lot disconnected. As the process went on, I find myself asking, is that really true? No, it's not. Because I will always be connected, because God makes sure I'm connected with Him, even if I sometimes don't feel connected. Also in the group, it's also a group process. You talk about, are we together, are we not together? It's really a dancer's thing, because we have to be in tune and really have to watch each other and feel each other to move synchronized. So this part you will see some of it very gentle, but some of it very disconnected. So I thank you for coming and seeing us. This is Connect.
Thank you, Christian Dance Company. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic. And also to link Daisy of the Christian Dance Company with the Olympics. So the new Olympic sport Daisy would invent is jumping from a tree to tree like Tarzan. That really doesn't surprise me after that. And the sport she would like to take part in, again, it doesn't surprise me after that, is the 100-metre sprint.
Shall we stick with Olympic sports?
We'll stick with the Olympic sports.
Antonis Sousamoglu is our next guest, and some of the string people had very strange choices. The Olympic sport he'd like to introduce is synchronized swimming with goldfish. Don't ask. I was trying to think what that might be like. They keep forgetting he was there, which might be useful. And he'd have to reteach the routine every 8 seconds. But he seems to like synchronized swimming because the event he'd like to take part in is synchronized swimming. And then he added, with women. So,
Think we're ready to introduce him?
We could do. He asked me not to introduce him with great... I've got sewn a piece of paper here with his credentials, but he said, don't bother, just introduce him. But I think that would be unfair because he's so well known and respected, not only in Greece but throughout Europe. The first concertmaster of the prestigious Thessaloniki State Symphony Orchestra, and he's held as one of Greece's most prominent violinists of his generation. He has an unrelenting zeal for 20th century composers. Collaborations with Greek orchestras are on a nationwide scale and have brought him high acclaim. He's also a prolific composer, freelancing in a wide range of musical styles, with an abundance of projects, scoring music for films, dance productions, symphony orchestras, TV documentaries, and CD recordings. Never tiring of musical and creative adventure, he songwrites and performs his own material with a band across Greece. He's represented Greece in prestigious music competitions, and 2008 obtained his doctorate from the City University of London for his work on the violin music of Nikos Skalkotas. Are we ready?
Ready.
Thank you. A big hand for Antonis.
Thank you. Good evening from me. It's been a great week. Thanks for having me here. The first piece I would like to play for you tonight is the first movement of a suite for violin and piano by the Greek composer Yannis Konstantinidis, who is... Oh, sorry. So it's Yannis Konstantinidis. So the next piece I'm going to it's Yannis Konstantinidis. Thank you. Who is one of my favorite people in Greece. The piece was written in 1948. He's one of my favorite composers. Not only because he lived and studied in Berlin, which is my favorite place to live, but also because he secretly became a songwriter with a nickname and became one of Greece's most well-known songwriters without anybody knowing that he was the same person. So the first movement of a suite of folk dances of the Greek islands. Julian. I love the things that happen here in CA when you meet new artists and new composers. 4 days ago, I met a very young composer who is also a very talented violinist. So I'm going to play a piece of Iris Havisto. The piece is called Ani Mamin, and it's a Jewish prayer. Enjoy. Thank you. I was going to invite, but he's already here. My good friend, Werner. And we're going to play for you one of my favorite tunes by Astor Piazzolla. Some of you might recognize it. We have too many pages. If they fall down, it's informal. We start again. Okay. Thank you. Feel free to book us for your wedding or family event.
Thank you, Antonis and friends and wonderful new composers. Oh, I could just do with them every night, really, just to sort of lull me to sleep. Fantastic. So our next artist is photographer Paul Yates. Now, I should mention that Paul and Peter and I are all from the north of England. And I'm going to give you a little history lesson now in British culture and our sporting traditions. Now, where we come from in the north of England, our children are trained at school in taking part in sporting events. One of these events is the egg and spoon race, which involves small children holding spoons on which is placed a raw or a boiled egg. They then have to run from one end of the school field to the other without dropping the egg. We also have another one, which is the wheelbarrow race, where one child holds the other child by his or her ankles, and the child is then forced to run at some great speed along the running course, being pushed like a wheelbarrow. I'm not sure how that translates into Dutch or German or any other language. So, I mean, in most countries that would probably be seen as cruelty to children. In England, it's positively encouraged. So, Paul Yates. To continue our sporting and Olympic theme, Paul would like to invent Scrabble for the over 60s, and his sport would be catching the javelin. So in the last 20 years, Paul has worked on CD covers, music concerts, and photo assignments in cities throughout the world, from London, Munich, New York, Dallas, Atlanta, Vancouver, Jerusalem, and Cape Town, to name just a few. His documentary work for the African Children's Choir humanitarian charity, Music for Life, has taken him to Uganda, South Sudan, Rwanda, Kenya, and South Africa. In 2008, he was honoured with an associate membership of the Royal Photographic Society of Great Britain. Paul now lives in Germany and is married to the flautist Heike Wetzel. At the moment, Paul is experimenting with printing his photographs onto metal, and the results will be on display here next year. Paul is now going to show his current work and give some explanations. So he does explain that this is kind of sort of unplugged session. Paul Yates.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a fantastic week, and lots of new inspiration from the students. I always come away having learnt from the students, and I hope they learn something from me. I've had a wonderful group of people in my workshops, and tonight I'd especially like to single out just one student, who's our youngest student, Natalie Cosma, who's here tonight, I think. Is she around? Yeah, she's here. Okay. Natalie attended my workshops last year, and I've seen huge improvements in her work in the last 12 months. And one picture she showed me yesterday was so amazing, I would have been proud to have taken it myself. So well done, Natalie, and look forward to see what you do between now and next year. I'm going to show you some pictures. Yeah, thank you. Natalie. I'm going to show you two of my most current jobs on CD covers, but also, as many of you know, I like collecting photographs of road signs and unusual signs on my travels. I picked up quite a few over the last 12 months. I'm going to show you two of them, just to encourage you all, really, to keep your eyes open. Look for funny signs or translations, particularly on menus when you travel around the world. And they're always worth photographing, and make a collection. Everybody can do it. You don't need an expensive camera. And I'll just show you a few examples. I was privileged at the end of last year to make a journey on a ship from Bergen in Norway right the way up to the North Cape. And I had a cabin on that journey with Hurtigruten, I think the ship line is called. And we made a stop just north of Bergen. And, well, this picture is a little bit like the work of Martin Parr, for those that know Martin Parr's work. But this was taken with a mobile phone. And I just found the sign really amusing. Toilets can be found on the second floor. Use the stairs to the left of the museum and have a nice day. So this, if you keep your eyes open, you see all these kind of things. Okay, the next one was in my cabin on this ship. It was translated from Norwegian. And it says, "Don't throw strange things in the toilet." Yeah, well, the mind boggles. The next ones are just ones I've collected off the internet, just to give you some inspiration, but let's just go through those quickly. We've got fish and chips. This is a nice one. Are you illiterate? If so, write for free help. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well. Well, I think this is something for Amsterdam. You never know what you find at the garden centre. Okay, so, moving... Actually, it's funny, because I don't just collect signs from road signs and things. I also look at newspaper advertisements. And I just picked out just 3 to tell you. One of them said, dog for sale. Eats everything, and is especially fond of children. There was another one in Bali, in Indonesia. It said on the side of a shop, "Genuine antique furniture made to order." China Garden Restaurant in Kensington. Once you've eaten here, you won't eat anywhere else. The Wagon and Horses in Manchester. It said, "Great food served here every day except Sunday." What do they serve on Sunday? Just the leftovers. And finally, there was an advertisement in the newspaper. A lady rang the newspaper. Her husband had died, and they said to her, what do you want to say? And she said, well, just 3 words, really. George Cohen is dead, or 4 words. George Cohen is dead. And the newspaper guy said, well, I can give you 3 more words if you like, because it's the same money whether you say that or you can put 3 more things. She said, okay, George Cohen is dead, Volvo for sale. Okay, enough of that. Yeah. I took this actually 2 months ago in Greece. And it's just a demonstration. There's a software, or rather an application you can buy for the iPhone. And some of you may know it. It's called Hipster. It's a free download. It doesn't cost anything. And this was just taken as I walked into the sea. And I looked down with the mobile phone, again, which I took this with, and set it onto Hipster. And it puts all these interesting colors in to areas that quite unexpectedly. So once again, this is something everybody can do. You don't need a fancy camera for it. It was taken with an iPhone and set on the Hipster setting. So if anybody wants any information afterwards, just come and see me and I'll put you in the right direction where to find it. But, sort of thing everybody can do, really. So I just want to encourage everybody, really, to... this was taken here, in this, down by the reception hall, with Hipster on a mobile phone. So, okay, so Taya said I was experimenting with metal at the moment, and this is going to be some work I'm producing in the next few months, and this is the beginnings of the metal preparation. I start off with metal that's slightly damaged and imperfect, and this shows the original piece, and this is one of my assistants who's just loading it onto a vehicle where we take it to an engineering workshop where they cut it for me. So you'll see some of this work next year, so please come back. Okay, so I'm just showing you some recent work now. This is the musical conductor, British Jonathan Knott, who's world-famous conductor. I was fortunate enough to be asked by the Bamberg Symphonic Orchestra, the Bavarian State Orchestra, to take a study of Jonathan Knott during rehearsals. So these pictures are the pictures I produced for them. All these pictures were taken without flash, and the lens I used was a 300mm on a Canon. Just check. That's okay. So the rehearsals were for the Seventh Symphony of Mahler. So towards the end of this presentation here, you'll see pictures with a lot of energy and expression. If I can just move the projector just this way a little, please. A bit more. That's good, yeah, thanks. So once again, I'm trying to capture the personality of Jonathan Knott here. So a lot of observation, a lot of anticipation, and of course I had to take the pictures quietly with the camera so I didn't upset any of the orchestra members. It was a wonderful experience. I spent 3 days with the orchestra, and this is just a selection of the pictures I took. For those technical people here, the shutter speed on the camera was around about 1/100th of a second. The f-stop setting was 2.8. No flash, and it was taken on a monopod. It's not a tripod, but a monopod, which helps stabilize the camera a little bit. I met a group from England a few weeks ago called the Flying Pickets. I don't know if anybody remembers that name. A cappella group of men who had some hits in the 1980s. And they performed locally near to where we live. And one of the pickets saw this picture and he said it's the first time he's seen a classical conductor look like a rock star. So I took that as a compliment. Oh, Werner. Yeah. So here we are. This is the job I did recently for Werner Hooks, who everybody knows. He's on stage at the moment, playing a little bit of incidental music for me. His new CD, which is called 50 Plus, was released this week. And I'm just going to show you some photos from that photo shoot. This was the picture we decided to use for the CD cover. I put an effect around the edge of the picture, and this is how it began. And then with the graphic design, this is the final cover. The art direction I did myself. I worked together with an excellent designer in Nuremberg, and we talked with Werner. We threw some ideas around and decided to produce the design in this way. Thank you, Werner. So, thank you very much for this lovely music you were playing. The final pictures I'm showing you tonight are the Emotion Trio, who were here on stage this week, and the two boys with Heike there. There's such a wonderful chemistry between the three of them that I always try to capture this when we do photo shoot together. And the CD are actually called Day Off, which is basically on the idea that when they have a tour maybe and they have a free day in between two concerts, then they have a day off and just do something fun together. So we decided to use a boatyard for the location, and we took a series of photographs at the lake here with a rowing boat. And we took the boat out on the lake, and we had a lot of fun together. I was in another boat with somebody else steering. And these were the pictures we got. The CD is coming out later this year, and this is also the design from the same graphic designer who also did Werner's CD. And this was the way we decided to do it. It's a digipack without a plastic case. And this was the way we're using the pictures. The image on the right is the cover, which is more abstract. And then the text is put over and out of focus. It's actually it's a wall in the background there with the text. Now, because obviously they need press shots usually have to be taken in this way, so they look nice and clear for magazines and for posters and so on. Now, this is the press shot we're going to use for the Emotion Trio, but I'll just show you finally how I put this picture together. All three artists were in my studio at the same time, but they were photographed separately. So Heike was photographed first, I think. And this is the image, of course, you just saw on the group of three. I had it already arranged in my mind what I was going to do, so I had them standing in a certain way so I could put them together later as a group. Helmet was also posed against a green background. I use a green background because it's easier to do a cutout on the computer. And then once again, we built the group. I'm just going to show you another image in a moment because I had an email from Wolfgang, and he saw the picture which you've just seen of the three of them, and he said, "I love the picture, but can you make me look a bit like Brad Pitt?" So I'm not sure whether I can do that, because this is the picture here. And I thought, well, why does he want to look like Brad Pitt? But I thought, okay, if he wants to look like Brad Pitt, then you get Brad Pitt. So it was quite funny because we sent this image to the graphic designer, and she's never met Wolfgang at all. And the picture just came to her, and she looked at it and was totally blown away. And then, it sunk in that it was actually, Brad Pitt. So there we are. So that's the last picture. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Paul Yates, not just a great photographer, but quite funny too. Thank you, Paul.
Can somebody help me? All right, thank you. Well, we can welcome Werner back on stage right away. Werner Hux, ladies and gentlemen. We've always mentioned his new CD, 50 Plus. And looking through all the wonderful things that he's done, one thing really caught my eye. And as an artist, one of the things that you maybe value most is the praise of your peers. And Werner was involved as first guitarist in the musical Les Miserables and played on the German CD version. And I was reading here that he earned the personal praise of the composer Claude Michael Schoenberg, who said, of the 40 CD recordings worldwide, this is the first and only time the guitar has been played exactly as I always wanted it. Werner Hux.
For me as well, it has been a beautiful time together to see old friends, to meet new friends. And Paul, thanks a lot for all the effort, energy, love that you put in our little project. And I'd like to play a collection of songs. I'd like to start with a tune from Johann Sebastian Bach. It's a kind of music that accompanies me since I'm, I guess, 15 years old. I love these melodies, and my approach is the melodic approach. I don't think too much about the structures. I just enjoy the flow of the notes, and those things are very nicely to play on the guitar. And I converted a tune. I think it's for violin, but I'm not too sure. No, it's for lute. It's for lute, actually. And after that, I'll go straight into one of my own tunes, and that is an old lullaby called Vanessa. Vanessa was at those times a 3-year-old lady that had problems to fall asleep, but with this song it was slightly easier. to me, getting closer to 50 was a natural process of reflecting what had been in the half century of life. And it turned out that the strongest emotion during that reflecting time was being thankful of all the good things and impressive things that had happened, about the uncountable encounters with lots of beautiful people, of the uncountable notes that I could listen to and that I could join with, about the wind in the leaves, the colors in the sky, the animals. So, and that was something that was a strong emotion during this time, and I thought I have to collect a lot of songs that meant something to me, and one bossa nova tune, another kind of style which accompanied me since a couple of decades, had to be in this collection, and I'm very happy that Paul van der Veen is going to join me for that song, and it's the song from Louis Bonfa, Manja the Carnival, or we also call it Black Orpheus. I just start. Whenever you're here, you can join in, Paul. Yeah. Just a few days, I wrote a little email to my girlfriend and said, hey, this evening I can play with Paul, and you know what? Whenever I can listen to his music or even have the chance to play with him, I am lucky. Thanks for your beautiful melodies and most of all to your approach and to music. That's something very special to me. Thanks, Paul. I'd like to finish with a samba-like tune, and that's called Café 26.
the fabulous Werner Hooks. We did ask him about Olympic sports, and I'm afraid that the one he invented we've had to censor. And if you want to know what it was, you'll have to ask him in the bar tonight. And yet again, another bloke who would like to take part in synchronized swimming. We're in the strange position now of having to be MC and introduce ourselves. So if I introduce you...
And I'll introduce you.
And then we can get going. Right, Taya Salter.
Oh, can I not introduce you first?
Yeah, but if I introduce you, I've got to go down in a minute.
Okay.
I've got to do you first. Taya trained at Mount View Theatre School, London, and St Martin's College, Lancaster. She has a first-class honours degree in drama and applied social science. She's an experienced workshop facilitator in dance, theatre, and more recently, with her own company, she's choreographed and directed many pieces for young people. Vibe, a devised piece of dance and physical theatre, exploring self-image, and Binge, exploring binge drinking. And recently was the artistic director for Walking Through Windows at Liverpool Cathedral, which included a piece for Heidi Thomas, BAFTA-nominated UK writer. And another CA collaboration last year, an exhibition that toured UK cathedrals, involves several artists including our own Brit Wickstrom. Now I go over there and fix the machine.
Shall I tell them what my favourite Olympic sports might be?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Listen, hang on. Oh, multitasking. I'm supposed to be able to multitask. I'm female. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you that the Olympic sport which I would do is that egg and spoon race, which I mentioned earlier. I have to say it's my only ever sporting award I've won, and I was age 4. And the Olympic sport I would compete in, if it were ever part, would be the street sort of sport event, which is free running or parkour. So, Peter S. Smith is a painter / printmaker, works out of a studio on the South Bank in London. He studied fine art at Birmingham University and art education in Manchester, and he also has an MA in printmaking. He exhibits his paintings. I can hear sniggers down there. I can hear laughing. He exhibits his paintings and prints in the UK and oversees his work in public and private collections, as well as teaching workshops. He's a member of the Royal Society of the Society of Wood Engravers and an associate member of the Royal Society of Painter Printmakers. In September 2006, a book about his printmaking was published called The Way I See It, which included an introductory essay from one of our favourite CA colleagues, Calvin Seerveld. This year, his work has included a joint exhibition with Teddy Leho in Sofia and workshops in wood engraving at the St Bride Library and Foundation in London. Peter would introduce to the Olympics a sport which is shared by the north of England and the Netherlands. Oh, well, a sort of clothes-wearing thing, clog dancing, and also archery, because you don't have to run about. So, are we ready, Peter? Peter Smith and me.
In doing collaborations with Taya over the last 2 years, you may think that we live quite close together, but in actual fact, we live opposite ends of the country. And our paths cross mainly at Christian Artists, and maybe once in the year, and the rest is done by email and telephone. And Taya was in Texas and sent me some photographs of her shadow across these amazing buildings and a housing project she was visiting. And I had the idea that maybe we could do a very simple lino cut based on the shadow. Of course, on the screen here, the lino print looks rather kind of too large. It's a very small image. The lino print idea then developed into why not do something else with lino? And the old tradition for artists like Albrecht Dürer was that the artist would draw on the woodblock and then some menial craftsman would cut the block and print it. Taya in Hebburn Bridge has been noticing the life of a very old goose there and has been writing a children's story and some children's performances about this old goose. So I sent her a piece of lino and said, draw the goose and I'll be the menial craftsman who cuts the block and prints it for you. So our second lino printing collaboration was this sad fellow who, he does look sad, doesn't he? And slightly Japanese in terms of it, because of the colours. I've also been working again with Lou Cosma and Paul Field, again because I'd amassed quite a collection of Taya's photographs of shadows. So I thought I'd put them into some brushes drawings, and Paul and Lou had been experimenting with a particular piece of music which brought the whole thing together. So if this works, this is what it is.
Talk to me. 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 Talk to me.
I was sat there waiting for the next one. So, well done to our last artists. Not sure how to say that. And I'm just going to do a little plug. The prints are on sale in the shop downstairs. The goose print and the home print are both on sale, unlimited edition. And we have very, very quickly, doesn't time fly when you are enjoying yourself, have got to that part of the evening when I can ask you to give a very, very warm welcome to Lane and Ria La Rivière.
When we started this week, Christian Artists, I said to you, hello, beautiful people. Maybe you thought, what in God's name she has meant with this? I hope that after these 5 days, you can understand that you really are beautiful people and that you met them too. Every year, we think this was the best seminar. And of course, that's not true. Every year, there's something special. I personally enjoyed the new teachers, the speakers, and artists. For me, as one of the eldest here, I think we give over the flame to the younger people. And that's great and very, very inspiring. I hope this week gave you what you expected. Tomorrow you go home, and I hope you go with peace, tolerance, humor, and strength for the future. And I want to thank, of course, all the people who did such a lot of work. And I want to start with the staff, and special thanks to Michiel. He is the one who did it all with his staff. Dus I think give a big applause for them. Okay. I want to thank Johan van Klaveren, the Soundlight crew, with his people. And also give them a big applause. And I want to thank the teachers, the speakers, the artists. But I also thank you as participants. And I want to thank the staff of KSI, their management, the people in the kitchen, the cooks, and the ladies who cleaned our rooms. When you go home, think about the people you meet in your place where you live. Give everybody you meet the same attention. The cleaning lady is the same important as the lady who has an important job in the government or in the arts. Everybody and everything belongs to each other. We need everyone's, and we need every profession in our lives. So be proud of everyone when you think about this week. Beautiful, beautiful people, be kind to the people you meet every day. That's it.
There's always a lot of wisdom in what she is saying. But before I start, I first owe you an apology. And then you may ask, for what? Because we have not run into each other, or we may have not spoken, or whatever. But it's now about 10 days ago, almost 14 days ago, Michiel came to me about the dates of next year's seminar. I made a stupid mistake. So I didn't look in the papers we already had communicated with KASI. So the dates on your book, on the back, sorry, I'm wrong. Don't throw stones. So if you already planned, I'm sorry for you. We start 1 week later. So, just for your own information, the proper day looks like going to be the 2nd of August that we start. So that's very important with planning your holidays, because we like to see you back on the good date here at KASI. And Ria said already thanks to so many people who made this all possible. People from KASI, our staff, artists, teachers, speakers, anybody. Because if you really understand what's happening, we are a kind of family. And hopefully you have discovered this week how much we need each other. As artists, you always depend on somebody else. If you are a performer, you depend on somebody who will do technical stuff. If you are a visual artist, a painter or a sculptor, then you need people who may sell your work. You always need other people. And by good cooperation, that is going to be one of the ways out of the dilemma we have spoken about this week. Because the actual situation, and to repeat from the other days, is not easy in our world of arts and culture. Unfortunately, I wish it would be different. I wish I could send you home with a beautiful panorama on reality, but it is not. This is a little paradise. And we have had here an incredible week, thanks to everybody who has invested in this week. Tomorrow we will leave this little heaven, this beautiful paradise. And then again, we have to cook our own meals, whatever that may be. I thought, because this is a month of Ramadan, I may join our brothers and sisters of Islam and do as well some days of Ramadan. Anyway, the sun is going down, so tonight we have a beautiful iftar. We call that the barbecue downstairs, and as you know, you're all invited to join tonight after the show, the barbecue. Coming back to the theme, Professor Wart Roofdhoofd this morning spoke very clearly about his analysis that we need fitness. If you want to succeed, he said, you need to be fit. It is like an athlete. And he's right. You need as well to challenge your mind. And I think he's right. You need to pursue for excellence. And he is right. You have to rethink or think about your values that is connected to priorities. You have to set that. And I think he's right. And you have to think about your own emotions. Because sometimes traveling and walking the straight and narrow, there will be a lot of emotions. Because not always we succeed. Not always things are happening as we hope and wish and dream about. And then he came up with a master plan on time management. And I thought, yes, there is a lot of truth in that. Because how much time we spend on nonsense, on things you just can throw away. I'm not talking about the artistic métier, because we always will strive for excellence. That means you have to do it again, and to do it again, and to do it again. And especially as a Christian artist, we should never hide behind any nice-looking slogan or painting little fishes in the corner of our work, of Jesus saves, or little crosses, whatever. Then we hide away for the challenge to make great art, to make the best art, to do the best we can, because I believe that will honor God. And that will have purpose and meaning in our world and our society. Having said that, it brings me to the Bible verse of today. It's a quote, and that is 3,000 years old. And funny enough, that quote is saying the same as our dear friend of the house, Professor Ward of this morning. He may not be aware of that. The copyright, what he said, is 3,000 years old. So it may help him for his next lecture. He can say, I'm just repeating 3,000 years old wisdom, and that sounds very intelligent. Anyway, this is from Proverbs. And you know, King Solomon wrote the Proverbs. And this very wise man, and he may have been one of the wisest men who ever lived, is saying this: all a man's ways seem innocent to him, so it all seems to be all right. But the motive, so there is something behind it, the motives are weighed by the Lord. So whatever you do, it always seems to be right. I can agree on that. But if we are honest, sometimes we have as well to look to our own motives. And then Solomon continues to say, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. Oh, that sounds like a very cheap escape. So, we have a plan. Oh Lord, we pray for that, and kaboom, it will succeed. That is very superficial theology. That's not what it says. Because the word committing has an incredible meaning. The moment you start committing whatever you do to God, committing includes the thought of analyze, rethink. What are the motives? Am I committing at all? Why am I committing anything? Very deep questions. Basically, all the 5 points of what Roodhoff said this morning. Solomon knew that already. And by proper planning, taking in account then Bart Roodhoff's wisdom, I may say, he was able to build the greatest piece of art that probably ever have created. That is the ancient temple. And there have been recorded words about that, and there are several texts about that, that we really know this must have been something extraordinary. Well, he knew that to commit means plan, means analyzing, means thinking, means challenging. And then the plans will succeed. So, this is my prayer to you to take along. Really commit whatever you do, whatever you are to God. That includes all those 5 steps. And I'm convinced by doing so that your plans may succeed. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year. But if you truly believe in the gift God has given to you, and if you really keep pursuing all those things, there is a day you may see the fulfillment of that. It's not an easy road ahead, but it is possible. It is possible thanks to the grace and the Spirit of God. You agree with me? God bless you, and I hope to see you again next year.
Thank you very much, Lane and Ria. We did manage to grab one member of the La Riviere family to ask about their Olympic sports, and we managed to get hold of Michiel. And in true keeping with his fashionable and on-trend self, he had fashionable and on-trend sports. He would like roller skating or blading to be introduced into the Olympics, and he would like to take part in skateboarding. That's Michiel. just watch out. And we are almost ready to welcome our last guest tonight, artist and speaker, Paul Field. And Paul's Olympic sport, which he would like to be introduced, is darts. And another one which we may or may not be surprised at, he would like to take part in beach volleyball.
In your dreams.
So, are we ready? Almost ready.
It's a big band, I better. I'll just read slowly, should I?
Go on, read slowly.
Paul Field has been working as a professional composer, producer and musician for more than 30 years. He's received an Ivor Novello Award from the British Academy of Songwriters and Composers and a Dove Award and 2 nominations from GMA in Nashville. His songs have been recorded by many artists around the world, and his writing, production and arrangement credits range from country and gospel through classical to rock and pop. He also writes music for TV, film and radio, theatre and advertising, and lectures at Bath Spa University, which runs the world's first master's degree in songwriting. His songwriting credits include Cliff Richard, Tammy Wynette, Winona, Avalon, Jackie Velasquez, Rebecca St. James, Elkie Brooks, Katie Mueller, Natalie Grant, Point of Grace, Sharon Kipps, Stonewashed, and Michael English. Corporate TV advertising credits include British Rail, DeWolf, B-Sky B, Astra Farm, Tokyo Motor Show, the Cabbage Patch Kids, Heinz Corporation, and the BBC. Not over yet. Music for charity projects include Christian Aid, UK Human Trafficking Centre, Anti-Slavery International, and Compassion. Are we ready?
That's why he needed a long list of achievements, so we could get things ready for him. Are we ready? Yeah,
About.
we are.
Well, Paul Field and other people, as you can see.
So, it's kind of daft to say it's good to be here because I've been here all week and it's been good all week, so I'm glad to be here again. Yeah? Okay, this is, in fact, I've been standing outside thinking, I decided that because, you know, CA is a good place to experiment with all kinds of things, that I do 3 new songs that I've never done before. And I'm standing outside thinking I'm not sure how much of a good idea it was to do 3 new songs with 8, 9 people who've never played them. I mean, yeah. I wrote this on New Year's Day, 1st of January this year. And I was thinking about all the friends I have that I really don't see very often anymore, and also all the friends I have that sadly are no longer on the planet. And I figured, whatever else, that life can be too short. I was going to say, actually, that as there are so many people playing tonight, we'd, like, after every song, you, the audience, get to vote one of them off. But I think one of them may be off already. It would be nice to start with the full crowd. Marvellous, the old-fashioned way, Torsten. Okay, where was I? Good evening. It's lovely to be here. I've already used up 5 of my minutes. Okay, this is with or without Torsten. This is Life's Too Short. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sunday afternoon and it's raining. One more New Year's Day. Thinking about the past behind me, how the future slips away. Oh, so many friends all left behind these days. I seldom see. They're the patchwork pieces of my life, all a part of me. Roll out the red carpet for the memories to walk on. I used to think we'd all live forever. I can turn around and somebody else has gone. Life's too short. Life's too short. Whoa. Life's too short. Whoa. Well, there's no guarantee to be found. Never know what's coming down. Life's too short to mess around. Also raise a glass to life tonight. Live it while you can. There's a God who's up in heaven, but we can never read her plan. Make the most of every minute, or don't let yourself forget. This life is no rehearsal, no, it's the only chance we get. Oh, roll out the red carpet for the memories to walk on. Used to think we'd all live forever. Turn around, somebody else has gone. Life's too short. Life's too short. Life's too short. Well, there's no guarantee to be found. Never know what's coming down. Life's too short. So here's to DC, JP, Little Roy and Caroline. Nutshell, where the hell did those years go? Big wheels, bad deals, promises and platform heels. Nashville, God's will, I don't know. Bobby K and Nicky B, Hank and Janet, Johnny Reed, Bev Sage and T. Page, even Steve. Rock and roll and radio, backstage studio. None of us will ever be ready. Roll out the red carpet for the memories to walk by. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Life's too short. Life's too short. Life's too short. There's no guarantee to be found. You never know what's coming down. Life's too short. Let's hear it. Life's too short. Whoa. Life's too short. Whoa. Life's too short. Whoa. Life's too short. Life's too short. Yeah, life's too short. Life's too short. Oh. Life's too short. Okay, this is a little bit of theology for you. Okay, Elaine will appreciate the theology. It's very straightforward. song. One. Now God don't hate the Muslims, God don't hate the Jews, God don't hate the Christians, but we all give God the blues. God don't hate the atheists, Buddhists or the Hindus, God loves everybody, and we all give God the blues. And again, God don't hate the Muslims, God don't hate the Jews, God don't hate the Christians, but we all give God the blues. God don't hate the atheists, Buddhists or the Hindus, God loves everybody, but we all give God the blues. Oh, God ain't no conservative, no liberal Democrat, ain't no independent, no, God's above all that. Bigger than religion, he's got a better plan. Science says God's gone fishing, so every man. Come on. God don't hate the Muslims, God don't hate the Jews, God don't hate the Christians, but we all give God the blues. God don't hate the atheists, Buddhists or the Hindus, God loves everybody, but we all give God the blues. Pray now. God loves old bartenders, preachers, whores, and fools, and that karaoke singer who's ruining, don't be cruel. The winners and the losers, the sinners and the saints, the veteran and the losers, that means you, that means me. God don't hate the Muslims, God don't hate the Jews, God don't hate the Christians, we all give God the blues. God don't hate the atheists, Buddhists or the Hindus, God loves everybody, but we all give God the blues. And again, God don't hate the Muslims, God don't hate the Jews, God don't hate the Christians, but we all give God the blues. God don't hate the atheists, Buddhists or the Hindus, God loves everybody, but we all give God the blues. One more. God don't hate the Muslims, God don't hate the Jews, God don't hate the Christians, but we all give God the blues. God don't hate the atheists, the Buddhists or the Hindus, God loves everybody, but we all give God the blues. God loves everybody, but we all give God the blues. God loves everybody, but we all give dog, you've got the blues. Oh, marvelous. Nothing seems to last forever in a world of touch and go. All our wisdom we believe we have, there's so much we still don't know. Read the story of your mercy, turn the pages of your grace. In your eyes I see where I belong. In your heart I find my place. Deeper and deeper I go to follow the call I've heard. Wherever it leads me, I know I'm loved in every sense of the word. Loved in every sense of the word. Breathe the fragrance of compassion. Taste the sweetness of your love. And I'm trusting in the promise, faithfulness, sure enough. Deeper and deeper I go to follow the call I've heard. Wherever it leads me, I know I'm loved in every sense of the word. I'm loved in every sense of the word. Deeper and deeper I go. Follow the call I've heard. Wherever it leads me, I know I'm loved in every sense of the word. I am loved in every sense of the word. Loved in every sense. Torsten Harder. You know, really, I think tonight there's, I don't think there's anywhere else I'd rather be at this moment tonight. It's such a good feeling to be here among my friends here on the stage, my friends down there. And to have a week talking and being with each other, and we're all on the same journey. we're all approaching it from different directions. We're all different. We're all on different roads. We're all coming. We all carry different baggage. We've all got a whole different kind of stuff going on in our lives. But we're all trying to get to the same place in the end. There's a small town somewhere on the map of my heart, and its name is Peace of Mind. But the signs aren't clear and the road is dark, so it's the hardest place to find. Such a hidden location, nobody's sure if it's miles away or just down the line. But it's the one destination we're all looking for, a town called Peace of Mind. One more weary pilgrim with a tale to tell, one more dreamer walking the line, one more traveler looking for a vacant hotel in a town called Peace of Mind. I remember a young man a long time ago, waiting for his life to unwind. Now more than 40 years later, I'm still on the road, but looking for a peace of mind. I've met false alarms, disappointments and tears. I've lost my way many times. Still I hope to arrive before I run out of years in a town called Peace of Mind. One more weary pilgrim still believing in grace, in a world that's cruel and unkind. I'm looking for refuge and a resting place in a town called Peace of Mind. Some tell me I'm crazy, it doesn't exist, and I'm only wasting my time. Oh, but still I continue, still I persist in looking for a peace of mind. Still I continue, still I persist in looking for a peace of mind. Small town called Peace of Mind. So here's to Lane and Rhea, you're crazy but you're still here. The real deal, Maggie, your email king. Thanks to Frida J, Ruben B, Loopy Lou and Hennessy, Torsten, Gerald for everything. Late nights, wheel rides, cold beer and cold nights. You found common ground in what we believe. Old friends, new days, everyone at CA. None of us will ever be ready to roll out the red carpet for the memories to walk by. But wants to go to heaven, yeah, but nobody wants to die, because is coming down. Life's too short, oh, mess around. Let me hear you now. Life's too short. Life's too short, whoa. Life's, come on, whoa. Life's too, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. Yeah, so roll out the red carpet for the memories to walk by. We all want to go to heaven, but none of us want to die. Life's too short, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. Life's too short, whoa. You keep going, you keep going. Life's too short, whoa. Thank you so much. See you later. Whoa. Whoa. Life's too short, whoa.
Speechless.
This is true. Are you going to say goodnight, Taya, to him?
Oh, I don't want to say goodnight.
Yeah,
Can we
go
go
on.
party?
No. Yes. You- Over to you.
It is truly speechless. What can you say? How can you follow that? I think Paul kind of closed it in a way that we can't improve, except from us to say thank you and to say, don't forget, there's a barbecue. Don't forget to visit the shop. Teachers, don't forget your attendance forms. Participants, don't forget your feedback forms. Don't forget your room keys. And don't forget to come back next year. Thank you, everybody. One more. And there is some 3D work in the Winter Garden and some of Geneva Plank's paintings on the steps leading up to here. Go and enjoy the barbecue and just spend some more time with lovely friends. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Sorry, and you have to know where you're going, of course. The barbecue is in the bar.